In this video I'm going to show you a couple of clips from today where I've been driving and I've tried to park at a place that I've already researched, like an Aire, and I just couldn't for one reason or another. The first one had been turned into a fun fair, and the second one was down this little tiny village with the most ridiculously narrow roads, and I just couldn't find where I was supposed to go, and it was a bloody nightmare. So this is the second time I've had a day like this where I've just gone from place to place to place. And the problem is, if you get somewhere and you find that you just can't park there for whatever reason. I mean, I've been blocked now for several ways. I mean, obviously the Aire being turned into a fun fair, that was a new one. But I've had places where I couldn't find it for what other reason. Sometimes the sat-nav fails, because sometimes the places you research on the internet, they'll give you an address and it's kind of vague, so you put it as best you can in the sat nav and it just can't find it, or it's trying to take you somewhere you can't go. I've had Google Maps, which is the worst for navigation in a big vehicle, try to take me over a footbridge. It's also tried to take me under a low bridge and down narrow roads that I can't pass through. So, if that happens, if for whatever reason you can't get there, the problem is, what do you do then? You see, if you're in a car, you could probably just pull over somewhere and stop and figure it out. But if you're in a big vehicle, you might not be able to just stop. And then even if you did find somewhere, you might not have phone signal. So I have now come up with like a little system. So I've got 3 tips. Number 1, when you do your research to find out where to park. Now, I did a blog post and a video about a week and a half ago showing all the places that I use online to help find somewhere to park. So I've got internet signal, I do my research, then I decide where to park. Always pick at least 3 places. Don't just rely on one, because I've had several cases now where I just couldn't park there. Second tip, if you have a navigation system that allows you to put in multiple destinations, put them all in as waypoints. So I'm using an app called Copilot, which I've talked about in a previous video, and with that one you can set your route and you can just add extra stops, and I think most navigation things allow you to do that. So if you get into a situation where you cannot get to where you want to get but you can't stop, so if I had an incident in Rouen where, again, I was looking for somewhere, it wasn't there, but I'm in the middle of this really massive big city. It was a Saturday afternoon. I couldn't stop. There was nowhere I could pull over. I had to just keep driving. So in that case, having a second, third, however many more destinations you want already programmed in means you can just keep going. And then the third tip is write down the addresses and coordinates, if you've got them, on a piece of paper, because sometimes you'll find somewhere to stop and then you realise this particular place you've got no phone signal and you've got no internet, no Wi-Fi, you can't get online and research the next place. If you've already got them written down and you need to put it in another app, which is what happened to me a few days ago, my Copilot app just was having a crazy day. It crashed 42 times in one day. It was literally crashing every 2 minutes. And in the end I had to switch to Google Maps, which I hate. But the problem was, I didn't have it written down. And I needed to get online to get the address to put it into Google Maps. I couldn't get online because I had no phone signal. So, yeah, 3 tips. 1, research several places. 2, plug them all into your sat-nav, and 3, write them down on a piece of paper as a backup. So that is my little helpful tip, and then after this I'll put in a couple of clips of some of the incidents where I've tried to park today. So I have a problem. This is supposed to be the Aire I'm staying at. They've turned it into a fun fair, so don't think I'm staying in this town. I think I'm going to have to go somewhere else. Luckily I have 4G here, because I made the mistake of not researching a second place before heading out. I've made that mistake before and I mustn't do it again. Second time now. But yeah, luckily I've got 4G so I can go online and find where else to go. Definitely not having a good driving day. I've just driven up that road. I don't know if you can see how narrow that street is. And and I've been driving round and round this bloody village for about 10 minutes. I cannot find where the place is that I'm supposed to park, and driving around here is frankly quite terrifying. So once again I've got to try and find somewhere else to park. I don't even know if I've got a signal. I bloody well hope so. Oh, it's my own fault again for not researching more places, but not a good day today. Right, I've researched 3 places and I've written them all down on paper, so if I lose signal and somehow my route gets lost in the phone, I can program it in again or put it in Google Maps or whatever. So yes, I should have done this morning, but I didn't. So hopefully now I can get out of this tiny little village and find somewhere else to go.